But you'll get that feeling. Don't ignore. Fellas, listen to that feeling. What's going on, everybody? Guess what time it is? That's right. Story time. Today, I'm gonna tell the story about when I found out that my ex was cheating on me. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, it's a juicy one. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the video. So this was, I think, 2016. I was dating this girl that I had no business dating, right? Red flags everywhere, everywhere. So part of the story is, fellas, if you're watching this video, make sure you do not ignore the red flags. Look out for the signs, okay? Because they tell you from the jump, all right? Anyway, so I was dating this girl. Everything to me at the time seemed cool. I did notice some red flags here and there every so often, but at the time she was cool. Like, I think a preschool teacher or something like that. And things were cool, very family oriented. Family seemed chill, everything was dope. So we dated for about a year, right? Well, we actually ended up dating for like 2.5 years, but we dated for about a year, and then this is where the story starts. So I'm dating her and things are good, and then she ended up getting, cause her sister's friend tipped her off to a new job. And when she got this job, she basically, her whole wardrobe had to change. She had to start dressing up, so on and so forth, cause she was going from teaching preschool kids to then now preschool, first grade, whatever, to now she's kind of in an office, and she's kind of in an office environment where they got cubicles and offices and shit like that, right? She gets this new job. She's making more money. She's, life is good for her. You know what I'm saying? She ended up getting a new car. Shit's looking up, right? And of course, me, the supportive boyfriend, I'm proud, right? Hell yeah, right? At the time, I was a college student. I was bartending at the same time, just making my way through college, doing what I thought I had to do, right? During this time, while she has this new job, right? The infamous, I gotta work late, right? My dumb ass, bro. I'm just like, okay. This, once again, I didn't know any better. I know way better now. I have to work late, right? And she had to work late a lot. But sometimes this is how she thought she was slick, right? She thought she was slick because she would call me. She would FaceTime me while she's working, right? And she's doing a little computer shit with the FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? Thought she was slick. She did get me though. She was slick. But now I'm like, oh my God. Ashley is her name, right? I'll start going by the red flags. So everything seems normal, right? The weekends we spend the weekends together. Once again, I'm in school full time. I'm working, I would say, just under full time. I think at my job it was 35 hours was full time. I was working 29, right? So I'm working just under full time, going to school full time. And I drove from where I lived all the way to my college, which was an hour both ways. So I'm always on the road. I'm either at work, school, or on the road. Or sleep. I didn't do nothing, right? Okay. I remember her little sister used to play soccer for their high school, and we would go to the games and stuff like that. I remember hearing her start to talk about a specific person. It was just that specific person. And her other two sisters would always mention this guy, right? We'll call him Nico, right? Nico Medina, that's what we'll call him. So Ashley would always mention Nico, and then her sisters would go, oh, Nico, blah, blah, blah. They would say his name often. That's red flag 1 or 2, right? Because working late, and then red flag number 2 was them saying his name very frequently. Very frequently. Fellas, listen up, okay? Listen up. So and you'll get it. You'll always get it. You'll get this shit right here in your stomach. You'll get it. It's like right here, and you'll be like, "Yo, what?" I'm not showing. I promise you, I'm not showing my abs. I just don't have a shirt on. I wasn't trying to be vain. Anyway, But you'll get that feeling. Don't ignore, fellas, listen to that feeling. Anyway, so they would talk about that stuff all the time. And like, not talk about that stuff, but talk about that guy all the time and how he did this and how he did that. Like, just way too much. It's more than, like, bro, like, hey, all right now, you ODing, right? So red flag number 3, and this is the dumbest red flag. A lot of people think this is BS, but it's not, right? It's not. Here we go. So everybody knows I am a diehard, oh, by the way, Space Jam. Anyway, I'm a diehard Dragon Ball fan. Everybody knows that, right? And most women know fuck all about Dragon Ball, unless they're into anime and stuff like that, or they have brothers or so on and so forth. She got all sisters. She don't know shit about Dragon Ball, okay? One day we're in the car and we're talking, you know, we're chilling, we're talking, we're having a good time. And I mentioned something like, I was talking about the gym, because I still went to the gym back then, obviously. And I'm talking about it, and I had said something about me, like, you know, getting stronger, right, in the gym. And this girl, listen, fellas, listen, this girl gonna talk about some, oh, do you mean like Broly? How the fuck? How do you know? How do you know? Listen, because if you know even the slightest about Dragon, who you gonna name? Goku, Vegeta, Gohan? You're gonna name that the generic characters, the main. How do you know about Broly? The movie didn't even come out yet. It came out in 2018. This was in 2015, 16, maybe 2017. The movie didn't even come out, the Dragon Ball Super version, which means that the 3 non-canon movies, that was red flag 3. And that one hit me, because I was like, hold on. What the hell? What you know about Broly? Nah, fam. So now now my antennas are up, right? But you don't have any proof. You can't do any, but you feel it, bro, because it's starting to get wild, right? So then, after that, it started to get like real crazy. So fellas, let me tell you another sign, and this is a sign that started. So once again, I always was at their house every weekend. Hell, sometimes I would be there on the weekdays if I didn't have much homework and I wasn't working. I started to see phone started to do this a lot, right? A lot. So at the time, I didn't recognize that as a red flag, but it was weird because it went from up to down, right? That was red flag 4. Here's the funny thing. So weeks go by. I don't think anything of it. I'm at her house one day, and she has her phone in her hand like this. And this was, see how my shit lit up like that? So this was back when, I think it was the iPhone 11, no. The iPhone, either the iPhone X or the one right before it, the 8, and then the X. There was no iPhone 9. She did like this, and there's a notification from Nico Medina, right? Why is, and come to find out, I ended up finding out Nico Medina was actually her boss, right? Why is your boss texting you at this time of night? Weird. However, I didn't confront. I did not confront, right? I never once did. That was red flag 5. See how many, this is crazy, bro. Red flag number 6, she would accuse me of doing shit, right? She knew I had an ex-girlfriend that I had dated for a really long time, right? And all she did was accuse me of messing with that ex-girlfriend and doing stuff with that ex-girlfriend out of nowhere. Bro, I'm at your house every weekend, almost on weekdays. If I'm not, once again, if I'm not at home, sleep, I'm on the road back and forth from school. If I'm not doing that, then I'm at work or at school or at your crib. So she she started getting weird. Like she was like, oh, I'm not on your Instagram. I'm not this, I'm not that, da 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 da. And she was just making up all these weird accusations, right? So this is number 6. Number 7 was her, remember I told you her wardrobe started to upscale. So instead of just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, she started to wear skirts and like blazers and like frilly stuff. Well, the clothing started to get a little tight. Started wearing red lipstick to work. Shit was crazy, man. It started to get real wild. So here's where everything started to unfold. So they're still talking about this dude too. Still, all of them, right? It went from when I told you about that through all the way through all these signs. They're still doing it. So, I remember we got into an argument on Thanksgiving. I had to go. My sister had moved from Florida, where we are, to Macon. No, she was in Dothan, Alabama. So we went to Alabama to go visit her for Thanksgiving. So on the way up to Alabama, we get into an argument, right? Another red flag, that's number 7. So she decides to start an argument on the way to Alabama while me and my family are driving to Alabama. So we low-key break up that day, right? You know, because I'm not gonna take that. That's BS. I haven't done anything. I'm on my way to Alabama to visit my family, and you wanna start an argument? Okay, bet. So we break up, and then when I come back from Thanksgiving is 3 days, like the 3 days. I come back that weekend, she decides she wants to get back together. So we hash everything out, get back together. So after that, I remember at the end of the football season for the Atlanta Falcons was in December, right? Or January, but we had one of our final games in December against the New Orleans Saints that year. It was on Thursday Night Football. She decides to come to my house. When she comes to my house, right, it's me and my dad and her watching the game. We're all on the couch. She randomly decides I'm sick, right? She was totally fine. She randomly gets sick and has to leave my house. Falcons ended up winning that game, so I didn't even think nothing of it. I was like, okay, get better, have a good one. She leaves. 3 days later, I go over there. Okay, sorry mom if you're watching this, or dad, right? So she's not in the mood anymore, if you know what I mean, right? She can't get in the mood, nothing, it doesn't work, you can't get in the mood for shit, right? So it's starting to compound, right? It's starting to add up. So finally, I remember I finally got this gut feeling, and it was a calming, weird like feeling that I had, and I didn't know why I was feeling this way. And I remember I was sitting with my best friend at the time, and we're playing video games, and I remember I looked at him and I said, yo, I think Ashley's cheating on me. It just was calm. It was calm, dude. It was like wild. I was like, I think she's cheating on me. And he's like, no, there's no fucking way, bro. No way, dude. No way, right? Now, if you watch my channel, if you've been on my channel for a while, I have an old video telling y'all about the worst night of my life, where I basically kind of took like an edible and had a fucked up experience, right? Well, this is gonna compound on top of that. So after that experience that I had, I was calling her all night, texting her all night, and she's not answering me at all. So I don't know, it was weird, but I was having such a bad night, I didn't even think twice about it. The next morning, right, literally that night happens, I wake up the next morning, right? I've got 5 new messages on my phone from Facebook Messenger. Once I undo the thing, right, the last name is Medina. This dude had a wife. Apparently, the same night that I had that crazy situation, they went out drinking, right? He got fucked up, went home, and was just trashed. The wife probably felt something weird, and she checked his phone. Found everything. Snapchat pictures, text messages between the two of them. Their locations were on with each other. Everything was there. She sent me all of it. And She just basically dropped a bomb and left. She was like, is this your girl? Boom, right? Come to find it, so I did my research, I looked her up. The woman made like $200K a year, right? I think the reason that she did this was because I was not rich, right? The dude was rich, he had a lot of money, his family had a lot of money, his wife made a lot of money, and he was her boss, so he had that status. So here's the thing, guys. You get on the internet and they talk about hypergamy, like that shit is real. That shit is real. Not every girl's gonna fall under that, but that shit is real, y'all. So, long story short, after I find that out, immediately I hop up, throw some clothes on, brush my teeth, get ready. Cause I knew I had to find a little bit more, I had to dig a little deeper. So I go to my best friend and I tell him what's going on. I show him everything. And he's like, yo, what the fuck? So then I go straight from his house to her house. And I go in there, I knock on the door, everybody's weird. They're like, what the hell's going on? She's like, Sean, what you doing here, bro? Like, they're welcoming because they were super cool, but they welcomed me inside and they're like, what's going on? She's not downstairs. I'm talking to her dad. Me and her dad were like this. Anyway, so I sit on the couch and I asked them, I straight up asked them, I was like, did you guys all know? Am I the only one? Am I the last to know? Did everybody know? And they're like, what are you talking about? I showed them the text messages. I wasn't being a snitch, but honestly, like, bro, like, that's crazy. Like, I'm up under y'all face the whole time and y'all, this is what was going on, right? That's how I felt. The dad freaks. No, this is not how I raised my daughter. This is not how I raised my family. No, right? All of a sudden, I hear the footsteps come down the stairs and this girl going, hello? What's going on? I looked her dead in her eye, I said, so I'm like, no, I need to holler at you outside, right? So I go out there and we're standing there and she's like kind of trying to play dumb, right? So I was like, listen, so I laid it out there, boom, I know everything, right? And she's like, aren't you gonna yell at me? Man, I turned around, I walked off, I shook the dad's hand, said it was a pleasure, love you. That's it, right? The dad, like, he gave it to her. He was like, he yelling at her and shit. There was a couple other things that happened, but if you did like this video, you're gonna have to wait for the part 2. If I can get 11 likes on this video, I'll drop a part 2 to this. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I fuck with y'all the long way. Peace.